फर्जंदे ज़हरा ये हालात बुरे हैं।
काशाना-ए-बसीरत एक ऐसा मुकम्मल यूट्यूब चैनल जिस पर महरूम बसारत के लिए बिलखुसूस और तमाम अफराद के लिए बिलमूम सैकड़ों की तादाद में इस्लामी कुतुब दस्तयाब हैं। लिहाजा गुजारिश है कि आप अपनी जिम्मेदारी निभाते हुए काशाना-ए-बसीरत को सब्सक्राइब करने के साथ साथ बेल आइकॉन को प्रेस कीजिए ताकि आप इल्म के हुसूल के साथ साथ मजहब अहले बैत की इशाअत में भी अहम किरदार अदा करते रहें। काशाना-ए-बसीरत
फर्जंदे ज़हरा ये हालात बुरे हैं।
Now let's continue with the part 21 of this book. The prince said, "Does anyone possess the capability of rejecting wisdom from some time and then accept it after that?" Bilohar said, "Yes, this is how most of the people react to wisdom." Prince said, "Has my father heard all this?" Bilohar said, "No, I never found him listening in the right way, which would have reached to the depths of his heart. Neither has any kind of advisor spoken to him." The prince said, "Why did those wise men omit this in spite of the fact that they were senior in age?" Bilohar said, "They left it due to exigency and lack of opportunity. Rather, they left to a thing that is better for your father, for justice, which is softer for the self and better to inform. So much so that when people live together, a kind of love and attachment develops between them, and nothing except religion and wisdom create disunity among them. He bewails for it and is pained for it. Yet the effects of wisdom do not become apparent, as he did not find any opportunity for it. And it has reached us that a wise king who was close to the people and who reformed their affairs, who has a good view and was very just, he also had a wazir who was very righteous and truthful. He helped the king in public reforms and advised him in the affairs of people. This wazir was cultured and intelligent. He was religious, pious, and unattached to material wealth. He used to mix with religious persons, heard their discourses, recognized their merits, obeyed them, and had brotherly relations with them. For the sake of the king, he was also accorded great respect and honor. The king did not keep anything confidential from him, and the wazir was also at this stage. But he did not inform the king about the religious matters, and neither did he expose the secrets of wisdom. They continued in this manner for a long time. When the wazir came into the presence of the king, he bowed to the idols and accorded respect to them and enacted many rituals to show that he was also following the religion of the king, although it was very hard upon him. But he did all this for the sake of dissimulation. At last he sought the advice of his friends and brothers. They told him, "Be on the lookout of an opportunity and convey the word of truth to the king. Otherwise, you are helping him against your being, and you are making him infuriated against the people of your faith. Because you must not deceive the king like this, and neither must you be frightened of his glory." Thus the wazir prepared himself for this, and in this hope he remained his friend, so that whenever he got an opportunity, he would dispense advice to him and convey the truth. In spite of his deviation, the king was very humble and kind. He behaved very nicely with the subjects and was always keen for public welfare. He also tried to reach to the root of their problems. Thus, after a long time, the wazir got an opportunity to be alone with the king. One night, when all the town slept, the king asked the wazir, "Will you come with me to tour the city so that we may learn what is the condition of the people and what ill afflicts them?" The wazir agreed, and the two of them set out on the nocturnal excursion. On their way, they came across a garbage lot that looked like a hill. When the king saw a fire around the garbage, he said to the wazir, "Alight here so that we may walk and see what is going on there." When they went they saw a hole like a cave in which there was a poor man. When they looked around in the cave, they could not see anyone else. The poor man was in a terrible condition. He was wearing tattered clothes of the garbage, and he was resting on a pillow of dirt. He had a canvas huge bag full of wine before him, and he held a tambourine that he was playing. His woman was also dressed in rags, and she was serving wine to him. When he hit out her, she responded by dancing for him. By serving wine to him, she was according him the honor that is usually reserved for kings. The man addressed the woman as the chief of ladies, and they considered each other as extremely handsome and attractive. There was such a joy and merriment among them that it can hardly be expressed in words. The king stood motionless, and the wazir also watched the scene in amazement. They were astonished at the pleasure and attraction that was obvious between two gypsies. After that, the king and the Wazir returned, and the king said, "How do you feel about the pleasure that time showed us tonight? I think those two must be enchanting this every night." The Wazir found this moment right, and after some time he said, "O king, I fear that we are also living in the same kind of deception, and that your kingdom and all the things we are pleased with, and that which is before our eyes, who knows that this everlasting kingdom is also like the garbage lot, and that we are like those two people who can understand it, like the man who has hope in deliverance and the rewards of the hereafter, that our kingdom is like the cave that we have just seen. Perhaps our bodies that are recognized through purity, freshness, and health are actually like the body of that gypsy, and our bewilderment may astonish the people like we were amazed at those two." The king said, "Do you find anyone worthy of this quality?" The wazir replied, "Yes." The king asked, "Who are they?" The wazir said, "They are the people of faith who have recognized the kingdom of the hereafter and its bounties and then sought them too." The king said, "What is the kingdom of the hereafter?" The wazir said, "It is a bounty after which there is no destruction. It is prosperity after which there is no poverty. It is a happiness more than which there is no comfort. It is such a health that after that there is no illness. It is a satisfaction after which there is no dissatisfaction. And it is a peace after which there is no fear. It is a life after which there is no death. And it is a kingdom that has no decline. It is an abode of eternity, and it is such an abode of life that one would never be separated from it, and which will never change. Allah, the Mighty and Sublime, has neither decreed old age for the residents of the house of the hereafter, nor illness or hardship, tiredness, hunger, thirst, or death. This is the description of the kingdom of the hereafter, O king. The king said, Can one desire for this abode? And is there any way to enter this place?" The Wazir said, "Yes, the abode of the hereafter comes to the lot of one who desires it, and one who reaches to its door becomes successful." The king said, "What stopped you from telling me all this before?" The Wazir said, "Your awe and glory stopped me from it." The king said, "If you have mentioned it is true, we must not ignore it, and we must try our best to reach it. However, we must assure that the information we have received about the hereafter is correct." The Wazir said, "O king, are you asking me to mention this to you again and again?" The king said, "Rather, I want you to talk to me about it day and night and stop never, because it is a strange matter which should not be regarded easy. One must not be careless about something like this." Thus was the path of the deliverance of the king and the wazir. The prince said, "I do not have any interest in the royal affairs and the way of the king. What I want is to accompany you this night itself to the place from where you have obtained this knowledge." Bilohar said, "How can you accompany me, and how can you remain patient in my companionship when I have nothing that could protect me? Neither do I have any means of travel, nor am I a kingdom of gold. I don't have anything to eat for supper. I don't have clothes to wear, and I don't have stay permanently in any place. I leave every place in a short time. Neither have I rations to travel from one place to another." The prince said, "That which has strengthened you will also make me strong." Bilohar said, "But if you give me the thought of your companionship, you shall have a very good morals and manners, and you would be like that rich man who is related to a beggar." You, Asif said, "How is it possible?" Bilahar said, "Take for example that there was a young man among the children of the rich. His father wanted him to marry the rich and the beautiful daughter of his paternal uncle. Though the young man did not agree to this, he did not tell his father about his unwillingness. Instead of that, he went to some other place. On the way, he met a slave girl who was dressed in rags and begging from the people in pitiable condition from her doorway. This boy was attracted to that slave girl. So he asked her, "Who are you?" She said that she was a daughter of an old man who lived in that house. The boy announced his arrival to the old man and went into the house. He said, "Will you give me the hand of your daughter in marriage to me?" The old man said, "You will not marry the daughter of a beggar, as you belong to a wealthy family." The youth said, "I have found this girl attractive, and I am running away from a wealth and a noble lady whom I am supposed to marry, as I don't like her. So you marry your daughter to me, and you will find me a good husband for her." "How can I marry my daughter to you? Because you will take her away from us, and I also think that your people will not like her living with you." The youth said he was willing to stay with them at their house. The old man said, "It was If what you say is true, you take off this dress and ornaments." Bilawar said the youth did the same. He took an old dress from their belongings, put it on, and sat with them. The old man wanted to know about his antecedents and gauge his wisdom, so he spoke to him for some time and at last concluded that he was in his right state of mind. Thus he said, "Since you have taken a liking to us and agreed to stay with us, enter this hole." There were many houses behind that house. They were extremely grand, and they were contained all that anyone could ever need. The old man then gave him the keys of these houses and said, "Whatever is there is all yours, and you can do whatever you like with it because you are the finest young man." In this way, the youth got all that he wanted. Yusuf said, "Just as the old man tested the intelligence of the youth so that he may trust him, I also wanted to be like him. Thus you try to increase my intelligence and tell me whatever you know about it." The Hakim said, "If you want to entrust this matter to me, I can solve the issue with ordinary conversation. But I have another idea, which is the method of Imams of guidance to reach to the ultimate end of the good sense. It is a knowledge that is treasured in the breasts. But I fear that if you oppose this method, I may be responsible of starting an innovation. I will take your leave tonight, but pay you visit every night." So you think upon it and gain lesson from this. Employ your understanding and intelligence and be steadfast, and do not make haste in acknowledging the responsibility that falls on your shoulders, so that you may know that it after you have fulfilled it. You must also take care to avoid selfish desires and suspicions. Then you must clarify your doubts after discussing them in details with me, and then tell me what you conclude. They parted at this point that night. When the Hakim paid the second visit, he saluted and blessed him and sat down with him. And in his supplication, he said, "I pray to that Allah who is the first and before whom there was nothing, and who is such a last one that after him there will be nothing. He is such everlasting that he has no end. He is so unique and needless that there is nothing like him. He is so powerful and that he has no partner, and such a creator that there is no maker with him. He is so competent that he has no opponent, and he is so self-sufficient that there is nothing like him. He is such a ruler that he makes you a just king, whereas no one else can do this. He shows the way to guidance. He calls you to piety and changes blindness into sight. He endures abstemiousness and indifference to the material world. He likes the people of reason and is hateful to those who head for destruction. He conveys complete benefit to us all and takes us to paradise and his pleasure, and that he has promised through his prophets and saints. Thus, our inclination to Allah bestows us with effulgence, and we are internally fearful of him, due to which we become humble and sincere, and all of our affairs return to him. This supplication had a profound effect on the prince, and he became more inclined towards righteousness. His surprise was evident from this when he asked, "O Hakim, tell me what your age is." The Hakim said, 12. The prince was astonished. He said, "A 12-year-old is a child, whereas I thought you were at least 60." The Hakim said, From the aspect of birth, I am indeed 60 years old, but you asked me about age, and age is in fact life, and life is gained through religion and acting according to it, and being away from the world. This is not more than 12 years for me, because before that I was dead, and I don't include the days of death in my age. The prince said, why did you eat and drink if you were dead? The Hakim said, I was like the dead in blindness, deafness, and dumbness. My life was very weak, and I depended on others, as if in this quality I was a partner of them. Thus I was like them in name. The prince said, if you cannot calculate your age and neither of that happiness which is necessary for you, you should take into consideration death that is going to occur and which you do not dislike. Hakim said, my being will guide you in spite of knowing that your father's absolute deviation will be the cause of destruction for the people of religion. It is so because I neither consider death as death nor consider life as life, and neither do I expect something hateful from death. Thus, what inclination that person would have for life who has renounced it altogether? The prince said, O Hakim, you have said the truth. Would you be happy if death comes to you tomorrow? The Hakim replied, I would be happier if instead of tomorrow it came tonight, because one who has recognized good and evil and understood the enforcement from Allah, the Mighty and Sublime, which is there for forsaking evil and in the fear of its recompense, and one who performs good deeds in hope of its reward, and one who is certain of the oneness of God, and one who testifies for his promise, he is actually fond of death, because only he is eager for death who is hopeful of comfort that is to come after that, and one who is terrified of worldly desires and disobedience of the Almighty. The prince said, this is very strange that one should wish for an early death in order to gain salvation. Anyway, tell me about this community of mine. Why does it rely on idols? The Hakim said, a man planted an orchard through great efforts. Staying in it gave him comfort. One day he saw a bird in his garden which was feeding at a fruit that grew on a tree. So she shot hurled stone upon it. When he decided to slaughter the bird, Allah the Mighty and Sublime gave it the power of speech, and it said to the garden owner, you want to slaughter me while you cannot satisfy your hunger through me, and neither can you gain any strength from this. Thus, can there be found a good angel in what you have decided? What is that good? Asked the man. The bird replied, if you release me, I will tell you three things. If you remember them, it will be better for you than having your family and wealth. The man said, I have decided to perform the good deed. Now tell me those things. The bird said, remember what I say. Do not be sad at what you lose. Do not testify for what which does not exist, and do not desire that for which you don't have the capability. The conversation came to an end. The man released the bird. It flew up and sat upon a tree and said to the man, if you only knew what has been wasted by you, let me tell you that a great matter has been destroyed by you. What is that? He asked. The bird said, if you had slaughtered me, you would have found in my stomach a pearl as big as duck's eggs. You would have become its owner and financially independent. When the man learned that he had lost, he became full of regret. He said, let's bygone by bygone. Come down so that we can go home, as I want to gain goodness from your companionship and greatness through your favors. The bird said, you fool, you did not remember what I taught you and did not gain benefit from my statements. Did I not take oath from you that you must not be sad on that which you lose? You must not believe that which does not exist, and do not have for what which you cannot obtain. Are you not regretful of which you have lost and asking me to come back to you, and you seek something which you cannot get? You think it is true that there is a duck egg sized pearl in my stomach, whereas my whole body is smaller than the egg of a duck. I had made you take oath that you will not believe that which does not exist. In the same way, people made idols with their own hands and thought that it was them who have created you and tried to save you from fear and dangers. And you also were of the view that these idols protect you. Therefore, you spend your money upon them. And your people thought that it is the same idols who give them subsistence. They give sort from them which they cannot get from them. And they thought true that which did not exist. Thus, they also considered necessary what the owner of the garden thought was important. The prince said, "You have said the truth, but I don't know anything about the idols. I have never been inclined to them, and neither have I gifted them anything. Now you can tell me about the being towards which you invite me, and also tell me about that which you have preferred for yourself." Ather said religion is based on two things. One is the recognition of Allah, the mighty and sublime, and other is his satisfaction. The prince said, "How is the recognition of Allah is obtained?" The Hakim said, "I invited you to know that Allah is one, and he has no association. He is one since eternity, and everything other than him are created by him. He is the creator, and all else is creation. He is eternal, and all else is temporal. He is the maker, and all else is made. He is the controller, and all else is controlled by him. He is the permanent, and all else is destructible. He is the one who with honor, and all else is lowly. He neither sleeps nor becomes oblivious. He neither eats nor drinks. He is neither weak nor can be dominated. He can neither be made a target of displeasure nor anything makes him helpless. The sky, the earth, the atmosphere, the land, and the sea cannot disregard his command. He has created everything from nothing. He is from ever and will remain forever. There are no changes in him, and circumstances have no effect upon him. Neither can time bring changes in him. He does not change from one condition to another. No place is devoid of him, and neither is he confined in a place. No place is nearer than him, and nothing is hidden from him. He is the knower from whom nothing is hidden. He is such a powerful one that nothing is beyond his reach. You can recognize him through his kindness, mercy, and justice. He has decreed reward for one who obeys him and appointed punishment for one who disobeys him. Therefore, you must act according to the pleasure of Allah and refrain from his dissatisfaction. The prince said, "Is this one creator satisfied with good deeds?" The Hakim said, "O prince, his satisfaction lies in that you obey him and do not disobey his commands, and that you must prefer to give to others what you have been given. You must try to restrain from others what is kept away from you. Thus, this is justice, and the satisfaction of Allah lies in justice, and in following the heritage of the prophets, messengers. You must not forget their practice." The prince said, "O Hakim, tell me about the piety of the world and its conditions." The Hakim said, "When I found the world an abode of disposal and decline, and saw it changing from one condition to another, and when I saw the people of the world becoming targets of calamities and found them afflicted with different maladies, and sometimes I saw them in sickness after health, and in old age after youth, in poverty after affluence, in sorrow after happiness, in disgrace after honor, in deprivation after prosperity, in fear after security, in death after life, and I saw the short lives. I witnessed sudden deaths without any murder or killing, and I saw the arrows that were to hit the target, and I saw bodies that were frail, whose joints were shattered, who were not safe. I understood that the world is something that would separate and that is temporal, and I recognize that whatever I have seen from the world is much less than what has escaped my view. I have seen the inside and outside of the world and recognized it in its depths. I saw its hidden aspects and in a manifest way. When I saw it from its arrival onto its loss, I became fearful of this death of mine, and I fled from that which I had seen. In the meantime, you will also see people who were extremely proud and rebellious. You will see rulers who are the pinnacle of prosperity, who are proud of their kingdom. They are intoxicated with the joy of their power and physical health. When a revolution appears in the world, man is reduced to be its prisoner. One who has seen it himself, he testifies for it. So you should come out of their worldly kingdom, its pride and its prosperity. Replace degradation with honor, sorrow with joy, destruction with bounties, poverty with affluence, deprivation with prosperity, old age with youth, infamy with nobility, and life with death. Thus, it is a narrow grave in which there is extreme horror, in which a man is alone like a traveler who has separated from his companions, who have deserted him, and his brothers have also abandoned him, and there is no impediment from their side, and his enemies have deceived him. Now he has no defender. After him, his wealth and property and everything he owns is open to plunder. And if he has never lived in the world, he is not even mentioned occasionally, and no one even remembers him, as if he never had received any share from the world. Thus, O prince, do not take up such an abode, and neither should you keep your wealth and animals in it. Thus there is regret for it as well as fire. The prince said, "Fie on the world and one who is proud upon it while it is such." Saying this, the prince began to cry, and he told the Hakim, "Please elaborate what you have said, as it cure for my heart." The Hakim said, "Life is very short, and the days and nights are changing with speed. Departure from the world is soon. No matter how much you live, death is imminent, and the one who departs will have to leave the whatever is there in this world. He has to disintegrate, and whatever acts be he has committed in the world, these acts are fed up with him. And even his most solid constructions are going to be ruined. People will become unfamiliar with his name, and his memory will be forgotten. His genealogy will become unknown, and his body will decay. His nobility will change into disgrace. His boons will turn into banes. His profit will change into loss. Someone else will become the owner of his property, and those who remain behind will be disgraced. His women will become permissible for others. His oaths and vows will be broken. His responsibilities will be ignored. His heirlooms will become old. His property shall be divided. His personal effects shall be bundled up. His enemies shall be pleased. His kingdom shall be destroyed. Inheritors will appear for his crown, and they shall occupy his throne. Everything shall be taken away from him, and he will be made to leave the house and taken to the grave. They would leave him alone and terrified in the darkness of the grave. Friends will consign him to the dust and then go away. He will never become attached to his loneliness, and he will never come out of the condition of an alienation. You should also know that intelligent man has the right to crucify his selfishness desires, especially like the policy of the just Imam, and the cautious man who teaches manner to the public and who reforms the people. He orders what is right for them and stops them from what which corrupts them. Then he punishes those of them who disobeys and honors those who obey him. In the same way, it is necessary for a man of intellect that he should teach himself all the good morals and manners and control his selfish desires, and he must bear is it even though he may like their necessary benefits. He must protect his self from its harms. When he does something good and is pleased by it, he must prepare himself for its rewards and punishment. In the same way, when he is aggrieved, the man of reason has the right to look objectively at the circumstances that befall him. He must obtain their correct manners and restrain himself from making his affairs wrong. He must consider himself and his deeds lowly, and he must never be proud, because Allah, the Mighty and Sublime, has praised the one who has intellect and condemned the proud. He has also condemned those who have no sense. Through intellect and by the permission of Allah, one who can understand every goodness, whereas souls are destroyed through ignorance. Doubtlessly, the most authentic matter for the people of sense is that we must derive benefits from that which their senses have understood and which has reached us through their experiences. And it is not appropriate for the sensible man that, in spite of being capable of protecting his deeds, he should consider it unimportant and leave it while he is not capable of performing the act which is more important than that. And this one of the secret weapon of Shaitan that only one ponders upon it sees, and no one is safe from it except one that Allah has protected. The weaponry of Satan consists of two weapons. One of them is denial of intellect that appears in the heart of the man of intellect, and it is that he has neither intellect nor opinion, and neither there is any benefit in his intellect and opinion. It wants to stop him from love and acquisition of knowledge. It presents to him some worldly pastimes in good light. If man begins to follow this way, it is the success of Satan. But if he disobeys the shaitan, the latter uses another weapon to defeat him. It is that when a person does something and thinks upon it, shaitan puts such things before him that he cannot understand, that they will put him into some trouble, and that about which he has no knowledge. It will cause such harms to him. So much so that those things become the cause of the weakening of his intellect, and he develops hatred and suspicion. And the shaitan says, don't you know that you cannot complete this job and you never had the capability to do it? You have put in so much effort for nothing. Thus, the shaitan subdues many through this weapon. Thus, you must keep away from the acquisition of that knowledge that teaches you this, and what you have obtained from it is deception. You are in such a place where most of the people have been subdued through the various mechanizations of Shaitan. Among them are also those who have killed their ears, intellects, and hearts, and the Shaitan has abandoned such people as like animals. They do not ask what they don't know. There are various religions among the common people. In this, some have gone so much ahead in deviation that consider it permissible to kill and loot others.